Excited to talk to Ricky Blair, Platform 7, a successful entrepreneur, the junkyard dog himself, from rock bottom to the top. We all know that journey, and always great to have people share their vulnerable, transparent journey of how to help us get to where they want to be or better by people who have done it themselves. Um, I'll take a question. For some reason, Ricky may not be following me or updated his Instagram. It's not letting him join, but he is here. And yeah, can we reach out to Ricky and make sure that he's set up properly? We appreciate that. How do we adapt to AI? How do we take advantage of it? Well, first of all, you got to study it, you got to practice it, and you got to ask for help. There's so much information out there, and the first place is to figure out the best prompts to use according to what you want to use it for. It is outstanding at making humans more human, at helping us get 0 to 1, and then setting up the structure and framework from 1 to 100. There's so many ways to utilize AI, but if you're not practicing it, if you're not finding mentors, people who sit in the situation you want to be in by utilizing it, according to subject matter, topic, or expertise, then you won't be able to take advantage of it. And so the first 2 steps is to play around with it, practice it, and 2, find mentors according to subject matter, topics, and expertise that you're looking to utilize. So great question, and we are here on Thankful Thursday. Email me if you'd like to join us in Madison, Chicago, LA, New York, Jacksonville. We're all over the place. Hey, there we are, Ricky Blair.
There we are. Sorry about that there. How are you?
Very common. I'm terrific. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the introduction there. I
Of course.
appreciate it.
Well, I really enjoyed your book. I actually took it on my Italy trip, as it was my wife's birthday, September 2nd. So we went for a nice adventure through Europe. Um, but you and I share a similar experience, rags to riches. I went rags to riches, rags to riches. So I'm not as smart as you. But you've created a platform now to support individuals on their journey. How much of your own personal success have you integrated into Platform 7, and what parts of Platform 7 are from your actual journey?
I always say the business is me and I am the business. I think we spoke when we met a couple of months ago about the impact a mentor had on my own journey. I left school when I was 16. I met a very successful, very smart guy in his mid 50s, a real estate guy who literally took me under his wing. And I don't think the success I've had, the journey I've been on, the business I built in real estate in the UK would have been possible without him. And as my way of paying that forward and almost paying him back, we would only hire young, ambitious people coming out of school. So when we sold that business, we had a team of 55, 60 people, all aged between 16 and 25 years old, who all had great success. And if I had a dollar or a pound for every time I met a young person that said, "Where was my mentor? Where was my support when I came out of school or college?" Yeah, it would have been a different story. But that really is the driver.
Yeah, it's so interesting. John Asseroff is another one, who's a close friend of mine who early on was searching and lost, and a 50-something-year-old real estate person put him under his wing, and as you know, did it exactly the same as you, huge exits, and then has dedicated his life to helping to pay it forward in gratitude for that mentorship. Now, the second part of the question was how, in what parts of the journey have you incorporated into the Platform 7?
Um, I think that when I look at what was available to me, I had a mentor that had the hands-on experience. He taught me how to run a business. He introduced me to the right people, and he also helped me with the right resources. So he helped me fund the business. He introduced me to the right legal team, accounting team, finance team. So it wasn't just the support and the guidance he gave me. It was all encompassing. And without all of those three components, it wouldn't have been possible. So that really is the makeup and the three pillars to what we're doing now for other young people coming out of school and university.
One of the things or difficulties that young people do have, though, is, and you know this from your exit, you started at 16, but it was until you were 30 that you exited for 30 million or so with Colliers. So, uh, in all aspects of life, things happen very slowly, then all of a sudden, but very slowly is very, very slowly when you're 16, 18, 25. It's hard enough when you're 55. How do you deal with the urgency and the lack of expectation and the lack of perception or perspective about how long things take, especially in real estate, to build the great success that you had?
I think it's even more challenging today because everything is so instant gratification, and also on platforms like Instagram, even LinkedIn. It's almost like we see the success people have, but what they don't show us on these platforms is the journey and the challenges and the struggles and the persistence that were required to get them there. Um, when I think about my own story and the mentor that I had in my own life, think one of his biggest impacts he had on me was basically keeping me on the path and keeping me patient. I remember we set up my first business at 24, 25 years old. At 19, 20, 21, 22, year after year, as you refer to that lack of patience, I was so obsessed by the thought of starting my own company. But my mentor was there to just hold me back, make sure I was, the timing was right. And I always say, if we'd gone any earlier, we probably would have failed. Like the timing is everything. And to answer your question, think having someone there to support you, a mentor, someone to guide you that's actually run the race before you, that knows what it's like to play the long game, do things in the right timing. I think that's key to have someone you can lean on that can support you.
Yeah, Ricky, you're a testament to what I tell people all the time. I said, in order to be successful, you have to know your who sits in the situation that you want to be in and ask them for directions, but also know who you can help get to where they want to be or better. One of the other critical issues in supporting inspiring individuals is understanding attachment. So many entrepreneurs, again, more challenged today in outcome-based success, meaning we see all these people who put up, this is what I want people to think I am. I call them virtual Gatsbys, standing in front of successes that they don't own, or products, services, solutions they don't own, or houses and cars that they don't own. And it's a very difficult journey when we have an entire generation with the perspective of I will be happy when. All it does is create resistance and also exacerbates or amplifies the lack of patience. How do we instill in these individuals utilizing Platform 7 for the sake of what? You know, your mentor seems as if he kept you aligned, not only patiently learning the behaviors, practicing, failing, and getting feedback from the failure, but even more importantly, he seemed to keep you inspired for the sake of what you were doing all of this. And it did pay off eventually when you were 30 years old. How do we get people to focus in on for the sake of what instead of I'll be happy when?
Um, I think firstly, the way he kept me inspired was making me realize there's always that next level, there's always that next goal that's available to you. So I never got to a stage where there was an end goal. There was always the next goal or the next target to work and strive for. But I think the point you're making about not being happy and almost being a bit of an anticlimax once you achieve it. I was actually just on a call with some college students about an hour ago talking about this exact point. One of the things I was told so often growing up was how it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And
Yeah,
it just sounds like such a
cliche.
cliche, but the reality is I experienced it myself. When you look back, it wasn't that moment where you sold the company or had that achieved that goal. The climb, that is the best part. And I think that either young people hearing that from the outset or just experiencing themselves, that it can be anticlimactic when you do break through and achieve. But it is an important point, I agree.
Yeah, my next book comes out in Super Bowl 2026 called Don't Do Business with Dicks. But I think I want to write a book saying why cliches are so important. what it takes to become a cliche and why they're so important. Because, people are almost apologetic when they say, I know this sounds cliche, but I always say, why do you think it's become cliche? Because it's really lasted or been tested in time. I'm the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, and there's so many cliches that Napoleon Hill talked about in 1930 that are still relevant almost 100 years later here in 2026 coming upon us. So I'm never afraid of sharing those cliches. One last takeaway for those people interested in reading The Junkyard Dog, those people interested in signing up for platform7.co. One last takeaway. Yes, I said dicks. Don't do business with dicks. Someone's asking. Yeah, that's the name of the book. It'll sell much better than Connected to Goodness or Compassionate Capitalism. I've learned marketing finally after 10 years in 8 books. Anyway, give me one last takeaway for people that want to read the book or join the platform.
Um, I think one last takeaway is that the world is changing more today than ever before, especially for young people coming out of college. Um, I think that we're in a place now where businesses are willing to hire without a college degree. There's more opportunities available to us. I'm not saying that succeeding as an entrepreneur is easy, but the barriers to entry to becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own business has never been easier. So if you are interested in progressing your career post college or starting your own company, we're literally set up to provide you with a platform to achieve those goals. And we're here to support you and your goals and mission.
Fastest way to get to where you want to be is find someone that's already there and ask them for directions. Also facilitated, which means made easy by better platforms out there and better technology. Platform7.co, a great way to support yourself on your journey to where you want to be or better. Thank you, Ricky Blair. We'll see you. We're going to be in New York in November 14th, 15th, and 17th. I'll make sure my team reaches out and we get together in
Sounds
person.
good, David. Nice seeing you again. Talk to you
Great
soon.
seeing you.
See you, mate. Bye.
Congrats. Keep up the good
Thank you.
work.
Thank you. Bye, David.
Paying it forward, Ricky Blair. Very, very good.